Hello, welcome to another episode of One Shot. My name is Sailesh, and today we are looking at Chris Hadfield, the famous astronaut from a few years ago or a year ago, I can't remember exactly, but basically the reason why he's popular and famous and known is because he did that cool rendition of Space Oddity in space. If you haven't watched it, then I urge you to pause this, watch that video and come back and, we can continue with this. So now I assume you know who Chris Hadfield is. Very cool guy, I'm sure you agree. So the reason why I'm doing Chris Hadfield on this episode is because the creators of the stylus that I use, Apple Idea, the stylus that they create that I use is the Magless, and they set a competition for people that have the stylus to create an image focusing on Chris Hadfield, which is a really cool idea, and is a good excuse for me to do another video, basically. So that was good. So the actual kind of process for this was done a few weeks ago, and the results were out for the actual competition, and I came first, surprisingly. So that was very, very good and shocking, and I'm very, very happy that people liked the actual image at the end, and yeah, it's really good. So anyway, back to the actual process for this. I took 3 photo references and combined them to create something that I would focus on during the process. I felt this would be an easier way and more efficient way because of the time scale that I had in completing the piece was very, very short. In fact, it was the day of the deadline is when I actually did the piece, so it was very, very tight. So I figured I'd do the Photoshop kind of thing to kind of save time. So I took 3 images, the magazine cover that you see, and the image of Chris Hadfield with his astronaut suit and the Canadian flag, and also a space station. I think this space station is the actual space station that Chris Hadfield did that viral video, but I'm not 100% sure. But it kind of worked well in the actual kind of Photoshop reference that I did, so I don't really care too much about that. It just looks part of the actual image and it fits well. With the actual Photoshop thing that you can see right now, the things that I changed, well, there's only one thing that I changed: the mustache and the hair. I changed the color to a red to be more in line with the actual Aladdin Sane Bowie cover, where he has red hair in that. And I think that's a good twist, and it's enough to kind of make it my own a bit. So that's the actual photo reference that I've used. The actual process for this image took 5.5 hours, and I've condensed that to 8 minutes for this video. Hopefully that's not too long or too quick, and you guys can understand what's going on in the actual video itself. I do talk over it, so hopefully that helps. It might be a bit distracting as well, so if it does get distracting, just mute it, and you can just take in the actual process itself, if that helps. But yeah, do let me know what you guys think of this. It is very, very much appreciated if you can give me some feedback so I can improve on the next video. And I know I've had a bit of a break as well, so the videos will be coming in soon. I've filmed quite a lot during the break, so things to look forward to. Here is the process. Enjoy. So this is the process portion of the video. I'm starting off with the coloring pencil tool, doing the cross and the circle for the face guidelines. I'm starting out with the face because that's the focal point, and I figured that I'd prioritize on the face first anyway. But this initial pass of the whole canvas, over the whole canvas even, is just kind of a rough kind of outline with the lines. Just kind of get a rough kind of estimate of where things will be. And here you go, I'm going back on myself, going into the face with the eyes, erasing, refining. That's what I'm doing right now. The line portion of this piece, as ever, is quite lengthy. For this piece, it took about 2 hours long. I spent extra time than normal, even though I do spend quite a lot of time anyway, just to make sure that the likeness of the person that's on this piece, Chris Hadfield, was recognizable for people. So I was taking extra time on the face rather than the flag and the space station and even the suit, even though the suit and the space station especially are very, very detailed. I figured the main focus is the face itself, so I kind of just prioritized them that way, and I think it worked out in the end because I won. But yeah, so I am still doing refinement on the actual video. And yeah, the background itself, the canvas, I've kind of I put on an off-white to very, very light grey. So when I eventually get onto the colouring of the actual image, the lights, the highlights even, will stick out even more than they would on the default canvas. And there I kind of erased the space station because I wasn't too happy with the approximation that I did initially. So I kind of go back to do that and make it a bit more closer to the actual photo reference that I created. It's still not perfect at this point, but it was a lot better than before, and I was a bit more kind of satisfied with how it was. It was kind of niggling in my head whilst I was kind of doing the other bits. I wasn't too pleased with it. So yeah, so I think I'm approaching color. I think I've kind of finished there you go. I'm kind of putting on the blues and using the watercolor brush tool and taking one shade. So for example, with the flag, the red of the flag, I've taken one shade of red, gone over the actual maple leaf shape once, and then gone over parts of the actual flag where it needs to be a bit deeper to add some depth. And the idea behind the watercolor tool in paper is that if you go over a certain section, again with the same color or any color even, it'll just deepen that a bit further. And yeah, it gives it quite a nice effect. And now I'm onto the face. I did the skin tone. The thing with the actual photo reference, if you recall from the intro, the actual face has face paint, so it's quite different from a usual face. So I kind of changed up how I started the actual kind of creation of the actual face in color terms, using a lighter shade than usual to start off with, because the actual face is very, very kind of glam rock, kind of whites and pink as a base. So I made sure that it kind of stuck to that. But later on, I kind of even it out with some orange, really light orange. And also for the actual image itself, I changed the hair and the mustache to a red because I figured I'd need to give it a bit more of a twist than was given from the actual photo references. So I added that to make it my own a little bit more. And here I'm doing the eyes. I figured, I've said before, the eyes are my favorite thing to do because it just gives a soul to the actual face, gives it some life. And it's quite tricky as well, so it's quite satisfying once you kind of get the eyes done and they look kind of realistic to an extent within the actual bounds of your style. And there I'm applying the face paint. Before I started this piece, I was figuring that I might kind of withhold all the Bowie stuff right until the end because it'll be a nice reveal. But due to the time constraints and the fact that I only had a few hours left till the deadline of the actual competition, I just went ahead and did everything that I needed to as I thought of it and as I thought it needed to be done, rather than hold anything back because time was an issue. It would have been nice to have a big reveal thing happen, but that unfortunately did not. But still, it's part of the process, and this is a process video, so it makes sense, and it kind of helps you guys, I guess, if you're interested in doing a similar kind of thing like I did. Start something in Photoshop quite quickly and then kind of relate that onto the actual paper app and see how that kind of goes. It's pretty interesting, actually. I might go further into this, like create a scene in Photoshop and kind of have that as your own kind of photo reference and then kind of trying to emulate that onto the actual app itself. Would be quite interesting, and it worked out quite well in the end of this. As I was doing the face, I was constantly kind of thinking about the astronaut suit and the background, especially the space station, because I knew they were very, very detailed, and I was quite worried about kind of getting all the detail or insinuating the detail even with all the little kind of screws and little kind of different color shades and stuff on the suits and all the various complicated bits on the actual kind of space station. It was quite daunting, but I tried to stay focused throughout. And as I said before, the priority was the actual face anyway. And later on, you'll see me kind of activate the blend function for the for the app via using the pencil stylus, just to kind of enable me to use my finger to kind of blend bits of the background. So the insinuation is there, but the detail is not. So at a glance, and even more than a glance, you know, you kind of get the sense that what it is, rather than me overly explaining through the actual kind of style of it. So yeah, so I'm at a point with the actual face, and I've done a bit of the suit, and now I'm onto the actual space station. Trying to figure it out as I go. It is very, very complicated, and I was still kind of overwhelmed by it at this stage. Just kind of really going into it and just kind of going with the flow, really, and trying to be kind of sensible about how I kind of apply shades and stuff, because I did know at that point that I was going to blend it, so I didn't need to be overly kind of concerned with the detail, but I needed to make sure that things would kind of make sense when I did kind of blend. And there you go, I blended it, and I blended the flag a little bit, just to kind of give it a bit of a finish, to make it a bit more pleasant to look at. Otherwise, it would have been a case of me working on it a bit more and more, and I just did not have the time. So I figured cut my losses and kind of get on with it, really. But I did mention that I kind of got to a point with this image, submitted it, and then afterwards, a few days later, I went back into the piece because I wasn't 100% satisfied in myself with the actual image, and I'm sure you guys understand this. Being artists, you know, you kind of set yourself some kind of standard, and you want to kind of beat it each and every time. So I got to a standard of this, and I submitted it, and I had one, which was really surprising, and I'm so grateful for people that thought it was really good. But yeah, so here's the actual piece itself that I submitted. It's pretty good. There are bits and bobs around, you know, the actual image that I was not too happy about. So yeah, so there you go. That's the Chris Hadfield Bowie kind of piece that I've done. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think of this video. I know it's quite quick, but hopefully you guys can kind of you guys could keep up with the actual process, and hopefully it helps in a way. Yeah, so let me know what you thought. Comment, subscribe, like this video. That would be really helpful, and just gives me a better inkling of where to go with the next videos. That would be really cool. And yeah, and also follow me on the various social things. So yeah, so have a great day, and thank you for watching. Bye.